In this video, we're diving into 67 incredible facts about ancient India, covering its kingdoms, inventions, daily life, art, and lasting legacy. Some of these you might know, but many will surprise you. So, get ready to explore one of the world's oldest and greatest civilizations, fact by fact. One of the world's oldest civilizations, ancient India, dates back over 5,000 years, making it as old as Egypt and Mesopotamia. It gave rise to some of the earliest cities, cultures, and innovations in human history. 2. The Indus Valley Civilization. Between 2600 to 1900 BCE, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were thriving cities. They had straight streets, advanced layouts, and populations in the tens of thousands. 3. Advanced drainage systems. The Indus cities had covered sewers and public baths centuries before Rome. This shows how advanced their urban engineering truly was. 4. No clear evidence of kings. Unlike Egypt's pharaohs, the Indus cities show no palaces or royal tombs. This suggests they may have had a very different political system. 5. The mysterious Indus script. Over 4,000 inscriptions survive, but no one has cracked the code. Until it's deciphered, the language and much of their culture remain a mystery. 6. The Dancing Girl statue. A small bronze figurine from Mohenjo-Daro shows a young girl with one hand on her hip. Its craftsmanship reveals surprising skill in metallurgy and art, international trade. The Indus people traded beads, cotton, and gems with Mesopotamia. Seals from the Indus Valley have been found as far away as Iraq. 8. Cotton pioneers. Ancient India was one of the first places to domesticate cotton. This would go on to change global clothing forever. 9. A mysterious collapse. Around 1900 BCE, the Indus cities declined and were eventually abandoned. Climate change, shifting rivers, or resource exhaustion may have played a role. 10. The Vedic period followed the Indus decline. Around 1500 BCE, Indo-Aryan peoples introduced new traditions. This era is known for its hymns, rituals, and oral literature. 11. The Rig Veda is the oldest text. The Rig Veda, composed around 1500 BCE, is a collection of over 1,000 hymns. It is one of the world's earliest surviving scriptures. 12. Fire was sacred. The Vedic people worshipped through fire rituals called yajnas. Offerings were made to gods like Agni, the fire god, to carry prayers to heaven. 13. The origins of the caste system. The Vedas describe society divided into 4 groups: priests, warriors, merchants, and laborers. This was the early foundation of the caste system. 14. Cows were considered wealth. In Vedic society, cattle symbolized prosperity. They were often given as gifts in rituals and used to measure wealth. 15. The Mahabharata's earliest roots, the seeds of the epic Mahabharata, may date back to this period. Over time, it grew into one of the longest poems in world literature. 16. Early philosophies emerged. Thinkers in this era began asking questions about reality, life, and the universe. These debates laid the foundation for India's later schools of philosophy. 17. Early kingdoms formed after the Vedic age. By 600 BCE, India was dotted with Mahajanapadas, large states like Magadha, Kosala, and Kuru. These kingdoms fought, traded, and shaped the politics of northern India. 18. Magadha became the most powerful state Located in the fertile Ganges Valley, Magadha grew wealthy through agriculture and iron production. It later gave rise to some of India's greatest empires. 19. The rise of Buddhism and Jainism. In the 6th century BCE, Gautama Buddha and Mahavira spread new teachings of compassion and non-violence. These faiths challenged traditional rituals and reshaped Indian society. 20. The Maurya Empire united most of India. Founded in 321 BCE by Chandragupta Maurya, the Mauryan Empire was the first to control nearly the entire subcontinent. It marked a turning point in Indian history. 21. Chanakya, the royal advisor. Chandragupta's advisor, Chanakya, also called Kautilya, wrote the Arthashastra, a guide to politics, economics, and warfare that's still studied today. 22. Ashoka the Great expanded the empire. Chandragupta's grandson, Ashoka, ruled most of South Asia by the 3rd century BCE. His empire stretched from Afghanistan to southern India. 23. The Kalinga War changed history. After witnessing the bloody conquest of Kalinga, Ashoka renounced violence. He converted to Buddhism and spread its teachings across Asia. 24. Ashoka's rock edicts survive today. Ashoka had his laws and teachings carved onto stone pillars and rocks across India. Many of these inscriptions can still be seen 2,000 years later. 25. The Gupta Empire rose around 320 CE, founded by Chandragupta I. The Guptas created a powerful dynasty. Their reign is often called the Golden Age of India. 26. The Guptas promoted Hinduism. Unlike the Buddhist Mauryas, the Guptas supported Hindu temples and traditions. Hinduism flourished, though Buddhism and Jainism continued alongside it. 27. Advances in mathematics. Indian scholars introduced the concept of zero and the decimal system. These ideas later spread to the Islamic world and Europe, shaping modern math. 28. Aryabhata, the great astronomer. Aryabhata calculated pi, predicted solar eclipses, and suggested the Earth rotates on its axis. His works influenced astronomy for centuries. 29. Flourishing literature. The Gupta age saw the writing of classical Sanskrit dramas and poetry. Works by Kalidasa, like Shakuntala, are still celebrated as masterpieces. 30. Magnificent temples and art. Stone temples dedicated to gods like Vishnu and Shiva were built during this era. Intricate sculptures and paintings decorated their walls. 31. Education thrived in universities. Centers like Nalanda University attracted students from across Asia. Subjects ranged from theology to medicine, math, and philosophy. 32. Most people were farmers. The majority of ancient Indians lived in villages and worked the land. They grew rice, wheat, barley, and cotton, depending on the region. 33. Village councils managed communities. Small assemblies, often of elders, settled disputes and organized local life. This village system lasted for centuries across India. 34. Trade stretched across land and sea. Indian merchants traded as far as Rome, China, and Southeast Asia. Spices, gems, and textiles were among the most valued exports. 35. Women had varied roles. In early times, women could study and compose hymns. Later, their rights became more restricted, though queens and scholars still played major roles. 36. Food was rich in variety. Rice, ice, lentils, milk, and spices formed the basis of daily meals. Ancient texts mention feasts with elaborate dishes and sweet desserts. 37. Cotton clothing was common. India was one of the earliest regions to weave cotton into cloth. Light, breathable fabrics suited the hot climate perfectly. 38. Coins and currency emerged by around the 6th century BCE. Punch-marked silver coins were in use. These were among the earliest forms of currency in the world. 39. Entertainment included music and games. People enjoyed instruments like the veena and drums, as well as dice games. Chess itself traces its origins to ancient India. 40. The Upanishads explored deep questions. These philosophical texts, written between 800 to 500 BCE, asked about the soul, Atman, and ultimate reality, Brahman. They shaped Hindu thought for millennia. 41. The Bhagavad Gita became a timeless guide, part of the Mahabharata. The Gita is a dialogue about duty, morality, and devotion. It remains one of the most studied spiritual works in history. 42. Ashoka helped spread Buddhism worldwide. The Mauryan Emperor Ashoka sent missionaries as far as Sri Lanka, Greece, and Central Asia. His support made Buddhism a global religion. 43. Yoga began as a spiritual practice. In ancient texts, yoga meant discipline of body and mind. It was designed to achieve union with the divine, long before it became physical exercise. 44. The 6 schools of Hindu philosophy. By the classical period, Hindu thought was divided into 6 systems, including yoga, Vedanta, and Nyaya logic. These schools debated the nature of truth and reality. 45. Ancient India pioneered surgery. The physician Sushruta, often called the father of surgery, described over 300 surgical procedures and 120 instruments in his text Sushruta Samhita. 46. Ayurveda, the science of life. Ayurveda, India's traditional system of medicine, emphasized balance between body, mind, and spirit. It's still practiced worldwide today. 47. Early hospitals and care systems. Buddhist monasteries often doubled as care centers, providing healing and medicines for the poor and sick long before modern hospitals. 48. Advanced metallurgy. Indian metallurgists created high-quality steel, known as wootz steel, prized across the ancient world and exported to the Middle East and Europe. 49. The Ramayana and Mahabharata are epic treasures. These 2 Sanskrit epics shaped Indian culture for millennia. Together, they contain over 200,000 verses, making them among the longest poems in the world. 50. The Ramayana tells the story of Prince Rama, his wife Sita, and the monkey god Hanuman form the heart of this tale. It teaches ideals of duty, loyalty, and righteousness. 51. Sanskrit was the language of scholarship. Sanskrit texts covered everything from poetry to science. It's one of the oldest Indo-European languages, and many modern languages trace roots to it. 52. The Panchatantra spread animal fables. This ancient collection of moral stories about clever animals traveled from India to Persia, then to Europe, becoming part of Aesop's fables. 53. Cave temples became places of devotion. Sites like Ellora and Ajanta feature vast cave complexes filled with Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain temples carved straight into rock. 54. Indian art celebrated both gods and daily life. Sculptures and paintings showed deities, dancers, musicians, and even ordinary people. This balance of divine and human themes made the art relatable. 55. The the concept of rasa in drama. Ancient Indian theatre aimed to evoke rasa, or emotional flavors, in audiences: joy, sorrow, heroism, wonder, creating a powerful experience. 56. War elephants were India's tanks. Indian armies trained elephants for battle, terrifying enemies and smashing through enemy lines. They were symbols of power and strength. 57. The Mauryan Empire had a huge standing army at its peak. The Maurya Empire fielded around 600,000 soldiers, 30,000 cavalry, and 9,000 war elephants. Few ancient empires could match this scale. 58. Archery was highly developed. Indian archers used longbows made from bamboo and horn. They were famed for their skill, and archery remained central to warfare for centuries. 59. Forts protected cities and empires. Massive stone and mud brick forts defended capitals like Pataliputra. Some featured moats, gates, and walls miles long. 60. The Gupta military was smaller but efficient. Unlike the Mauryas, the Guptas relied on speed and alliances, with a more flexible army that helped them dominate northern India. 61. Jewelry was everywhere. Gold, silver, beads, and precious stones were worn by both men and women. Ancient Indian artisans were master jewelers, exporting their work abroad. 62. Perfumes and cosmetics. Texts mention oils, perfumes, and cosmetics made from flowers, herbs, and spices. Ancient India had a thriving beauty culture long before modern times. 63. Astronomy was advanced. Indian scholars calculated eclipses and even proposed that the Earth rotates on its axis. Their models influenced later Islamic and European astronomy. 64. Chess was invented in India, known as chaturanga. The game featured pieces for elephants, horses, chariots, and infantry. It eventually spread to Persia and Europe, evolving into modern chess. 65. Snakes and ladders also began in India. Called Moksha Patam, the game taught moral lessons. Ladders represented virtues, while snakes represented vices. 66. Buddhism spread India's influence abroad, from Sri Lanka to Japan. Buddhist ideas, texts, and art carried Indian culture across Asia. India's spiritual influence stretched thousands of miles. Many of these contributions are still used today. 67. Ancient India's story still shapes the world. Its civilizations rose, fell, and transformed, but their ideas, inventions, and beliefs continue to shape global culture. Ancient India was not just a regional power, it was a cornerstone of human history. And that's 67 facts about ancient India, a civilization of thinkers, builders, and storytellers whose influence is still felt today. Which fact surprised you the most? Was it the invention of chess, the epic scale of the Mauryan army, or the timeless beauty of the Ajanta caves? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this journey through history, make sure to subscribe to Forgotten Chronicle HQ and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the past. Thanks for watching. And remember, history isn't just about the past. It's the foundation of who we are today.